Hello everyone, welcome to the Sports Map. I'm back again with another map of mine. Well, it's a continuation of my previous map. Due to it, it was a bit of a success, people watched it and people looked at it. I thought it would be nice to, follow up on the viewers and create a second part to my channel. I have since cleared up the problem. I thank my classmates for being able to fix the pin. See, now I have the time recorders in a much cleaner fashion, saying it will take an hour 15 because as I said, for the few of you who have not watched before, it was basically that there is the high-speed rail currently down here, this stretch, the train to nowhere between Madera and Bakersfield, right? If the piece is going to get completed by the state's money, I don't know, what the federal fund with the current administration dropped in a little bit more. But now there has been an agreement to extend the ACE. So if they can complete it in time for the ACE extension, then maybe, just maybe, we could see this being a new way around, because now you can reach anywhere between Bakersfield and Madera in about 30 minutes. And you can go up on the ACE, so you don't have to go as far up as Stockton. You can go as far as Tracy, and you don't have to go the long way around, around Martinez and Richmond and Oakland. You only have to go up, and then you're down just to Pleasanton, Fremont, and then you'd be down in San Jose. So it's a more direct route to both the Bay and the Valley currently. The two biggest things I want to see kind of going forward, I feel like, to add on to this one, I don't know how much time I'm going to get in this. I currently am going to see if I can find a BART layer and a VTA light rail layer, because those are kind of the two that where they meet are in interesting positions. So it's interesting where you could go on those from there. The other thing that you factor is the Santa Clara BART. So the Santa Clara BART State Extension is going to be built at the current next to the Caltrain and the ACE Capital Corridor behind PayPal Park where the earthquakes is. And I was crunching the numbers of which was faster to get to San Jose, technically, but in two different locations. And it's like 30 minutes faster to go from Richmond to North San Jose than to go from on the BART versus to go from that same stop to the Santa Clara train station. You add 30 minutes. Because the other one I was actually looking at too was is the start of the Brightline West one from LA to Vegas, but they do have plans to move it. So it's going to go across this section. They believe it's going to be like East Los Angeles, and they're going to cut across. There's also a plan to kind of bridge it to Bakersfield, which would be interesting, because the thing I thought about when I was on a trip with some friends in 2017 is if you raced from Las Vegas to San Jose between someone driving, someone taking a bus, someone taking the train, and someone flying. The current option, mainly for the train, if you look at only the train right now, originally I thought you had to go all the way to LA and do the Coast Starlight, which is what a lot of the maps say, but that was the long way around. But if you took a bus to Bakersfield, because unfortunately there'd be the policy that, yeah, even though you're representing the train, you'd have to take a bus at least to California, to at least, either Barstow or Bakersfield, and you have to kind of bridge that gap, to cut across. And then, so originally I thought it was Coast Starlight, but then it's San Joaquin. But since the ACE is, funny enough, very inopportune hours, that you probably wouldn't be able to take that in. So you'd have to take the long way around, connect at Martinez, and then go back to Santa Clara, because our finish line was at my friend's house next to Santana Row, for people who know that. So I was now, so obviously the thing kind of is a bit as is right now. There's no probably new things, because even the BART extensions farther, I looked at all on the map. If you're only representing the train, except for that one section where you can't, between Vegas and Bakersfield, unless you want to go the long way around, then that would be kind of the problem. But I feel like, if the ACE hours are extended in this new system, maybe it might be more popular. Who knows? There might be more than 4 trains from the Valley, from Central Valley to Silicon Valley. So it would have been interesting if, well, now, depending if the ACE extension comes first, obviously you'd only have to go as far as Merced, and then you have your train direct to the finish line. So you wouldn't have to go the long way around, because as I've linked in here, the ACE only takes hour 53. So that section, right? So you'd be about, and this section currently takes 4. So you'd be about 5-6 hours to do that stretch, but you'd be adding like a whole extra piece here. What is that? Yeah, you'd be adding 2 hours to your journey because you have to do that and you have to do like 15 minutes. So you'd be adding another hour or two to get home. So in that race. So obviously, if I look practically now, that would have slowed you down. I think I calculated that my calculations when putting it through, if everyone started at 6 o'clock and the flight was at 12, then the car would lose nearly to the plane by like minutes. And then there'd be a bit of a gap where then the train would come in just with the bus, because the bus would probably have to. There was no direct bus from Las Vegas to San Jose, funny enough, so you'd have to transfer a few times over to get a direct one, and so you'd be stuck taking one that just kept stopping, especially like the last mile. You'd be stuck on like the public bus. So that was the other factor, but so that might be interesting if like you did. We didn't do the race at the time, but if the race is run now, that's the standing. But you wonder if you rerun it after the ace is made, the extension's made reality, and maybe it's more frequent, would the person be able to travel faster? But the other thing is, especially if if the first section is complete with the train to nowhere, then maybe there'd be an even bigger fighting chance because you would slice off. He'd be doing like a fraction. That section right there, you'd be doing a fraction of that stretch. Obviously, it'd be slow again. You still have to come around, but you jump ahead from that section from Bakersfield to Merced. You'd be doing it in a 30-minute snap while everyone else has to drive like a couple hours to go from Bakersfield to the cut across at Los Banos at the 152, which that's where they'd be going in. So you wonder if it would be enough if it will bridge the gap. But interesting when the thing is finally made reality and you're able to do the San Jose tunnel. But yes, and that's the thing part of me wants to check. I think because, funny enough, the Olympics start today, the opening ceremony, for anyone who watched, comment down below. Brightline West opening date. I think they said it's projected for the Olympics, 2028, yeah. It's 218 connecting Las Vegas to Southern California. Broke ground on April 24th, about to cost $12 billion, take 4 years, 2028. Apple Valley, 186. I mean, because I have seen this, and that's the map I guess you can pull out right here. Zoom in on this one. Okay, so yeah, so that would be the interesting one if, that when they're making that bridge. That will be interesting. It'll be very interesting, I will tell you. But, okay. So that's the next what if probably I want to think about. It's because if there is a plan currently, that's the biggest question. How long does it take to do that stretch currently? Because obviously the thing was all three of us had to do that route if you were to run that race. Yeah, so the next things I want to consider is, yes, that distance between Las Vegas and Bakersfield, how much that'll be built in, and how over time, if you ran the race, but in the different kind of phases, how would the outcome change specifically for the train? That would be actually a very interesting thing to think about. Definitely feel like if there's a channel out there that does a race, would someone do that for me? I feel like, send me a letter. I will gladly draw out the details of the rules of the race and how it shall be ran. But the idea would be that you would test it like 3 different data tests. That you need a current one, the current layout with this long way, and then the next layout, which is that the ACE extension comes before or after the high-speed rail, or the high-speed rail is introduced, and the idea that you're saving that time, and it would all depend on if we'd have to do probably 4 of these because you'd have to bridge the gap. It all depend on when everything begins service, but with the current service and these 2 new additional services, as well as like officially if the high-speed rail becomes reality in the next decade, and you can go Vegas to San Jose on just a set of high-speed trains. This would be interesting, especially if there's that bridge. So be kind of, multiple races run over different construction phases to see how much time you save. Would be a very interesting thing. And I would suggest that to anyone who would know if they could do this. Comment down below, like or subscribe. Don't know if people are watching currently, but anyone watches afterwards, please say so. Okay. So obviously currently I'm just gonna kind of sketch this out really quickly because I want to see how fast it is to do that stretch, those two stretches when we have Google Maps, and then that idea. I'll have to do a line, and let's see. Okay, so I don't know. There's kind of, yeah, so you can do a highway, funny enough, bus route, freeway, aqueduct. So just gonna kind of draw this freeway line here, and then I'll do the pin on this. Okay. And then, because the other funny thing was we were trying to make that in the city you can only use certain transport. So I'm gonna sketch this guy out and cover him. Okay, save that. Important to save, I'll tell you that. And then I'm just gonna quickly sketch this guy, as well as the bus route, because that's the other one to think of if like the only options that currently exist. Because the thing is, you want the future train to see what you can do, but then you want the current bus route to line, bus route. Because that's the three things to currently measure. And then obviously I think the thing is probably set in stone that like no one's going to beat the plane, but it'd be kind of interesting if it can sell kind of the same thing people use. Because kind of currently, the big thing in Las Vegas, it's kind of sold that, it is in the middle of the desert, but it's like the big thing that, people fly over in like air conditioned comfort and they just hop in a cab or an Uber, like that's air cooled, the terminal's air cooled, and they just end up at the door of like the hotel or casino, which is also air conditioned. Very, very rarely do people want to get across, the long haul in the desert. That's a small fraction of the people, the tourists. So be interesting to see that, obviously there is the bus option at the same time. How does that work alongside the idea that there's now a train option? See, will people ride it? It's about a near direct cut across. So let's save these three and throw them into the, I'm gonna go get the symbols. Add. Nope. So not what I wanted to do. Create. Okay, so push pin. Let's just get like things on the thing and then we can make their own stuff. And then we're gonna put a pin pin on these three, and then we'll alter them. Okay. So I'm going to go quickly find the travel times. Drive time between Las Vegas and Barstow. 2-hour 20 drive at 156 miles an hour. I gotta check which is which, but I think my laptop's running out of juice, so I'm gonna have to get a plug and clean a few things up, and I move this back to the map view for a sec. I need to assemble, so I'm gonna turn the mic off for 5 minutes to figure out what I need. Okay, so very quickly, I'm snapping a photo of the different ones, just so for my own reference really quickly. I'm going to keep that here. I'm going to go back to the classic map viewer and write in the descriptions. Okay, so it takes 2 hours and 20 minutes to drive. And the driving one is the far right. It currently takes 2 hours and 20 minutes to drive. Between Las Vegas and Barstow. And the middle one's just the bus. Okay, also says 156 miles. So what's the bus says? So it's a bus only takes 2 hours 24. Takes 2 hours and 24 minutes to take on a bus between Las Vegas and Barstow. Because the other funny thing interesting to point out is the starting line was not literally the terminal or anything. We all had to start at the same starting line at the hotel, and the finish line was right from the door. That was the idea. Obviously, it didn't really happen, but the idea of it is, so obviously there's no train. So obviously the bus is what we're all doing. We're all taking that bus. But it's funny because the other defining thing about the bus was that so getting out of the city of Las Vegas, Roth was like, well, he could only ride public buses. Well, I can only take a train, which would have been monorail. The only bus I could use was the main one between that and Bakersfield. But after that, I kind of had to be on my own. So thankfully, it was that. But then I had to walk/run a fair distance to get to the bus terminal before taking that one would take me to Bakersfield. It would take me straight to the Amtrak station. So thankfully, I had like no other running to do except at the finish line, which I don't know if that made or broke me, but the long distance probably would still cost someone the race in that. Like that was the other rule for taking the bus. So also I'm gonna see distance between Barstow. Okay, so it's 156 miles, right? That's what it currently is. So white line last top speed. It'll go up to 200 miles an hour. So that would mean you could do that in less than an hour. About 3/4, so about 45 minutes. Take just over 45 minutes. Because all you have to says, well, how many times it's stopping? It'll stop Las Vegas, Victor Valley, Hesperia, Rancho Cucamonga. Line West. See? Okay, let's see. I just want to check to see where it is because it'll probably just stop a couple times, so that's going to take a few minutes off. Okay. Victor Valley. This is probably just like 50 minutes. There is no current train here, but the future Brightline West that began construction travels at 200 miles an hour and could complete this stretch in about 50 minutes. Okay. So I'm going to close that. But I'm going to change the symbols really quickly because transportation. So I'm going to do like a the train, close, and this will be the bus. Yep, found the car. Now I think they're in the same. Okay, the train's the top one. So the car's the bottom. Okay, so distance between Barstow and Bakersfield is 130 miles. It says it would take 90 minutes. It would take 90 minutes to drive between Barksville and Bakersfield. Change that to the car. I was always wondering if you could factor in like having a race where you had to factor in certain parts of the map and maybe like the right light, like they hit every red light and how much time they'd lose and stuff, and traffic and speeds stopping, like the whole idea that it would factor in the different travel methods and set like if they were flying, what time they flying, what time everyone leaves, like what's the ground rules. Okay, so the middle one is the bus. Okay, 01 bus. I don't know. Let's see if we can find a Barstow to Bakersfield bus. As far as they wouldn't have one. Yes, direct one would take you to 245. Change that for the bus. Anyways, the other one I want to find out is Bakersfield Style train. So there's obviously no current one. High speed rail. It's kind of going to go down though, which is interesting. It'll be 25 minutes, but I have to go down, which is interesting. The future high-speed train. Future high-speed train will connect Bakersfield with Palmdale in 25 minutes. Interesting, you have to go down, but at least it would be more direct. So you'd wonder, you'd be going much faster across the desert than everyone else once you're on it. So be interesting, because I think the plan is to put it in there. I'd have to look up. Let me change that. So train really quickly. Here's train. Okay. Clues. That's that section that I was looking for. So that's that piece. But I wanted to see, is Las Vegas Brightline Station, are they planning to put it on the strip? And I kind of skipped over it because looking for the Valley one. So let's see. Near it, so it's a good question how close it'll be. I mean, connections, if they'll extend like a monorail or something. I'm just gonna see if they have the address on it. Just do it quickly on Wikipedia. Las Vegas Boulevard. I mean, they're gonna need a lot of space, but I guess there's a lot of open space kind of in the Las Vegas area anyways, so you can take up that. On the South Las Vegas Strip, okay, between Blue Diamond Road and War Springs Road. I'm gonna just put that on, look it up on Blue Diamond Road, Las Vegas. So, according to the map, that's out in the desert. It's I guess they're gonna put it, they said, between there and Orem Springs, across from the outlets. So it looks like it's this block. Is there anything there right now, or is it just empty space? Nope, it's just a blank plot of land. I guess they bought it. It's like oops, ideal space. So, and then it's kind of curious because then if let's just pinpoint how long it would take to get up to the sign. Welcome to Las Vegas sign. So it would be a 7-minute Uber or Lyft, and then you obviously walk there in 40 minutes, and you can take the bus. It'd be 24 minutes or 11 bike rides. So I'll be kind of curious if they'll add something because there's the tram that goes to Mandalay Bay. Do you think they'll make a connection? I mean, Vegas is just kind of quick to get people in, so they're gonna probably stall on that stick. So it'd be interesting about how far, because in that scenario you'd be walking for 40 minutes. But I guess how far is that? So if you put that, you did Mandalay Bay, right? Obviously you can't use the bus. You'd be walking 56 minutes. 2.5 miles. It'd be a bit of a walk. Just an interesting little thought, but I feel like they're probably going to think of something because people are not wanting to walk or bike in the desert, so if possible, right? So there's probably going to be a line for Ubers or Lyfts or cabs or, even just a bus connection or, they might extend the monorail or might make a little thing like the boring tunnel, right, was doing that already. So, maybe there'll be something, but I do not know. I do not know right now. But it would be interesting, when you factor in that piece too. I guess you'd be going down, so. Now the only other one I want to take a look at, going back now. So that's saved. Obviously, that's the thing to also consider. But I'm going to go back to the other map. All the good bits and pieces in there now. But the two other things I wanted to consider was, so first of all, I forgot to change the plane. Oops. I'll do that first. So I'm just gonna make the plane and then be like, it takes an hour 25, I think. Let's see. Edit. Change symbol. Airplane. The only planes here? Oh no, they're good. We got like a airplane. Okay, let's just say Las Vegas to San Jose flights. Time. Hour 30, okay. It takes 90 minutes to fly. I mean, that's runway to runway, so that's once you're off the tarmac and back on it. That's that window. So to consider the pre-boarding. I mean, these high-speed trains you don't have to walk on sometimes. It'd be interesting to see if they're going to be doing stuff like on the tunnel where you have to check. Okay, let's just save that. And go back to the classic. Okay, so the next thing is that you would have the other two things I want to factor is the BART connection to San Jose from here. Excuse me. I gotta answer that. Fortunately, I'm going to cut it there, but I will come back with that section to think about a BART connection as well as a high-speed train between San Francisco and Reno. But I'll leave it there. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, share down below, and help get this video up to 200 likes.